So let's dive into a pretty tough but really important question today. As all the rules that kind of hold our societies together seem to be getting weaker, is this huge surge in conflict we're seeing around the globe just a coincidence, or is it a direct result?
You know that feeling, right? You turn on the news, you're scrolling through your phone, and it just seems like conflict is absolutely everywhere, from our own backyards to the world stage. But here's the thing, this isn't just a feeling. The numbers are actually backing this up, suggesting something pretty fundamental is changing.
And just to put a fine point on it, here's a really stark example from close to home. According to the source material we're looking at, politically motivated assaults in the US nearly doubled. Doubled in a single year. What used to be a really shocking rare event is, well, it's becoming a deeply alarming trend.
And this isn't just an American issue, not at all. If we zoom out and look at the global picture, it's just as worrying. You've got escalating wars, new fronts of violence popping up, and a growing number of civil conflicts breaking out. And across the board, the international laws that were specifically designed to prevent all of this, they're basically being ignored. So, you gotta ask, right? Is this all just a string of terrible luck? A bunch of completely unrelated crises all happening at once? Or is there a single underlying reason that's connecting all of these dots?
Well, the analysis we're digging into today argues that no, this is absolutely not an accident. There's a very specific reason for this explosion of violence, and it's something that's been happening kind of quietly behind the scenes.
And here's the core argument, right from the source. Violence isn't the root problem. It's a symptom. It's what rushes in to fill the vacuum when all the things we built to prevent it, our legal systems, our civic institutions, when they start to crumble. Now, to really get this connection, we have to be super clear on this key idea, the rule of law. We hear this phrase thrown around all the time, but what does it actually mean? Well, a great way to think about it is as the social glue for a society. It's what holds us all together.
And the crucial thing to understand is that this isn't just about a bunch of laws written in some dusty old book. The rule of law is a shared promise. It's an agreement that everybody, from you and me to the most powerful world leader, is going to resolve disagreements peacefully and accept that there are limits to their power.
And when you look at it side by side, the stakes couldn't be clearer. In one column, you've got a system with checks on power, which leads to trust and peaceful ways to solve problems. But when that system breaks down, you get the exact opposite. People in power can do whatever they want with no consequences. Resentment just builds and builds, and suddenly physical force becomes the main way to get things done.
Okay, so how does this actually happen in the real world? How do you get from, say, a weakened court system all the way to an actual physical conflict? Well, the source material lays out a pretty clear and kind of scary chain of events.
It starts by chipping away at the institutions that are supposed to protect the rule of law. The courts start to lose their independence. Then the integrity of elections is undermined. The free press, the people who are supposed to be our watchdogs, they get targeted. And with each one of these hits, another one of our peaceful procedures for solving problems just falls away. You can almost see it happen in 3 simple steps. First, those core institutions start to erode. Then, as they get weaker, all the peaceful ways to create change, like going to court or holding an effective protest, they just stop working. And when those doors close, what's left? Violence starts to look like the only real option to fix a problem or to grab power. So, once you understand that path, it leads us to a really stark and urgent warning about where we might be heading.
Look, if there is one single thing to take away from all this, it's this. The violence we're seeing, it isn't the disease, it's the fever. It's a direct symptom of a much deeper sickness, the weakening of law and order, both at home and around the world.
And that means the solution isn't as simple as more security or bigger armies. According to this analysis, real lasting stability only comes from doing the hard work of rebuilding those foundations. We're talking about restoring faith in fair courts and in independent media and legitimate elections. It's about strengthening the very things that were meant to keep violence on the sidelines in the first place. Which really leaves us with a critical and honestly a pretty unsettling question for our time. When that social glue, the rule of law, finally dissolves, what takes its place? What, if anything, is left to hold a society together?